Welcome to African Tales HQ. Once upon a time, in a peaceful village surrounded by tall mountains and green fields, Christmas was everyone's favorite time of the year. The air buzzed with excitement as children played in the snow and sang carols, while parents hung colorful lights and wreaths on their doors. It was a time of joy, love, and giving. But one Christmas season, something strange happened, something that would change the village forever. One chilly December evening, as the sun dipped behind the mountains, a figure appeared in the village. It was a man dressed in a bright red Santa suit. He wore a big, fluffy white beard and carried a large sack slung over his shoulder. "Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas!" he bellowed in a deep, jolly voice, walking down the snowy streets. Children peeked out of their windows, their eyes lighting up with excitement. A real Santa in their village? It was like a dream come true. The man stopped outside a small house where two children, Adisa and Shade, played. "Hello, little ones," he said, reaching out into his sack. "Here, a gift for you." Adisa and Shade squealed with delight as they each received a beautifully wrapped present. The strange Santa moved from house to house, giving every child he met a gift. The parents, though surprised by the unexpected generosity, were pleased to see their children so happy. But what seemed like a merry visit soon turned into something very strange. The very night after receiving their gifts, Adisa and Shade began behaving differently. Adisa, who was always kind and respectful, started yelling at his parents and refusing to do his chores. Shade, who used to share everything, became selfish, snatching toys from her brother and even hiding food. In another home, Jide, a boy who loved playing with his friends, started picking fights over the smallest things. Soon, he was left playing alone. And then, there were the nightmares. A child who had received a gift from Santa began waking up in the middle of the night, screaming and crying. They spoke of dark shadows, strange whispers, and glowing red eyes that haunted their dreams. Peace in the village quickly disappeared. Families who once sat together to share meals and stories began arguing and shouting at one another. Love turned to hatred, laughter to silence, and joy to sorrow. Among the families in the village was Mama Tayo, a kind and prayerful woman who loved her son, Tayo, dearly. She noticed the strange changes in the children around her, and when she heard about the nightmares, she became worried. One evening, as Mama Tayo sat outside peeling yams, she saw the mysterious Santa walking down her street. His red suit was bright, and his sack bulged with gifts. "Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas!" he called out as he approached Tayo. Tayo ran to the man, his face glowing with excitement. Mama Tayo hesitated. Something about the man didn't feel right. His eyes, instead of being warm and kind, were cold and dark, as if hiding a terrible secret. But before she could say anything, Tayo had already taken a gift from the man's outstretched hand. That night, Tayo woke up screaming. He clung to Mama Tayo, trembling. I saw snakes crawling out of my gift," he whispered, tears streaming down his face. The next day, Tayo was no longer the cheerful, obedient boy she knew. He slammed the doors, refused to eat, and yelled at her for no reason. Mama Tayo knelt beside her bed that night and prayed, "God, something is wrong in our village. Show me what to do. Help me save my son." The next evening, Mama Tayo decided to follow the strange Santa. She wrapped herself in a thick shawl to hide her face and trailed him as he left the village. The man walked for a long time, his sack bouncing on his back. The sun set and the path grew darker. But Mama Tayo didn't turn back. She was determined to find out who or what this man really was. Finally, he arrived at the old graveyard on the outskirts of the village. Mama Tayo's heart pounded with fear as she hid behind a tree, sneaking out to watch. The man stopped in front of a cracked tombstone covered in moss. He dropped his sack, raised his hands, and began chanting strange guttural words. The ground trembled and the tombstone split open. To Mama Tayo's horror, glowing lights rose from the grave. Out of the dark hole came gifts, neatly wrapped, as if invisible hands were preparing them. The man laughed a deep, menacing sound that sent shivers down her spine. Soon, all their hearts will belong to me, he growled. Mama Tayo gasped. This was no Santa. It was something far more sinister. She ran back to the village as fast as she could. Her legs felt weak and her heart raced, but she knew she had to warn the others. The next morning, she went to Baba Ade, the village elder. He was a wise man known for his knowledge of ancient traditions and spiritual matters. Baba Ade, she began, her voice shaking as she told him everything she had seen. Baba Ade stroked his long beard thoughtfully. This is no Santa, he said. This is a demon, a trickster spirit. Those gifts are cursed, meant to bring darkness into the homes they enter. We must act quickly before it's too late. Together, Mama Tayo and Baba Ade gathered the villagers. At first, many parents were skeptical, but when they looked at their children, their once sweet, loving children who now fought and screamed, they knew something was terribly wrong. The villagers collected every gift that the strange Santa had given. Toys, dolls, and other items were piled in the center of the village. Baba Ade lit a large fire, and one by one, the gifts were thrown into the flames. As the fire consumed the gifts, strange noises filled the air. There were hisses, growls, and even faint screams, as if the darkness inside the gift was fighting back. But the fire burned brighter and stronger until every cursed item was reduced to ash. The children began to change immediately. Their nightmares stopped, their smiles returned, and the love that had been lost in their homes was restored. But Mama Tayo knew the fight wasn't over. The source of the evil, the graveyard, had to be dealt with. That night, she and Baba Ade returned to the graveyard, armed with holy water and a Bible. They prayed over the open grave, sprinkling it with holy water. As they chanted, the spirit appeared, roaring in anger. "You cannot stop me," it bellowed, its glowing red eyes glaring at them. But Mama Tayo and Baba Ade stood firm. They continued praying until the spirit let out a final, ear-piercing scream and disappeared into the ground. The grave sealed itself and the air became calm. The next morning, the village woke up to peace. The mysterious Santa was gone, and the children were back to their normal selves. From that day on, the villagers were careful about accepting gifts from strangers. They also learned the power of faith, courage, and unity. As for Mama Tayo, she became a hero, admired for her bravery and wisdom. Every Christmas, the villagers told the story of the fake Santa, reminding their children to value the love and joy that come from family and friends, not mysterious gifts. And so the village remained a happy place filled with real laughter, true love, and lasting peace.
The end. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, kindly share your thoughts by commenting, support me with the super thanks, like, and subscribe. See you in my next video.